All right, let's talk about something that's shaping, well, pretty much everything. ESG, environmental, social, and governance. It's this huge movement that's changing business, technology, you name it. But as this whole green economy explodes, you got to ask yourself, is there actually a place for me in it?
And that brings us to this really fascinating paradox. You've got this entire field that's all about building a fairer, more ethical world, but getting a job in it can feel, kind of exclusive. It's a huge irony, and one we really need to dig into.
So that's the big question, isn't it? Is a career in sustainability just for people with fancy degrees and the right connections? Or is there another way in? Let's figure it out.
Okay, so first things first, let's really define the problem. Why does this whole ESG world sometimes feel like a members-only club? We're going to look at the real barriers that can keep really passionate, talented people stuck on the outside looking in.
So what do these gatekeepers actually look like? Well, I'm sure some of this sounds familiar. The pressure to get an expensive master's degree, pricey certifications that cost thousands, and oh yeah, the classic entry-level job that somehow requires 3 to 5 years of experience. Not to mention unpaid internships, which, let's be real, are a luxury most people just can't afford.
But here's where things get really exciting. There is a quiet revolution happening right now. It's a fundamental shift inside companies where they're totally rethinking what a sustainability job even means. And this shift, it's opening doors for absolutely everyone.
This whole revolution starts with one really powerful idea. It's not just about trying to get one of the very few spots on a small, dedicated sustainability team anymore. That old model is starting to fade. Instead, it's about becoming the sustainability expert, the go-to person, right inside the job you already have. This is the idea that's blowing the doors off the whole field. We're moving from a siloed little department to a mindset, a shared responsibility across the entire company. So, what does that actually look like? Well, if you're in marketing, you can be the one who turns carbon data into stories that people actually connect with. If you're in supply chain, you can be the champion for ethical sourcing. If you're a coder, you can literally write software that uses less energy. The opportunities are absolutely everywhere.
And listen, this isn't just some nice theory. Big-time companies are already all over this. Unilever is weaving sustainability training into every single department. Microsoft is upskilling its own people in carbon accounting. Deloitte's offering these bite-sized lessons on ESG for their entire staff. They know this isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a massive strategic advantage.
So that obviously leads to the next question. How do you get these skills if you're not going back for a whole new degree? Well, the answer is in all these new, super accessible tools that are totally leveling the playing field.
I mean, just look at the difference here. The old way was blocked by these huge walls, $50,000 degrees, exclusive certifications. The new path is wide open. We're talking free courses, open source training, and real-world projects you can do online. That barrier to entry isn't just getting lower, it's pretty much crumbling.
And that's the key takeaway here. You can start learning this stuff today, for free. You can dive into the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. You can learn the gold standard for measuring carbon emissions. All you really need is a little curiosity.
But it's not just about online courses. There's another huge democratizing force at play here. The collision of AI and big data is creating a whole new type of accessible career in this space.
Yeah, the new skills are less about being a PhD-level climate scientist and more about just being comfortable with data. Tools like Power BI and Tableau make it possible for anyone, even if you're not a tech person, to take emissions data, make sense of it, and tell a really compelling visual story. It makes all this complex stuff suddenly feel tangible.
Okay, so we've talked about the problem, we've talked about the revolution happening. Now let's bring it all home. How do you actually apply this to your career, right now? This next part is a simple, actionable game plan you can start using today. Here it is, 4 simple steps. First, find your sweet spot. What are you good at now? Finance? Okay, explore green bonds. Second, learn in little bites. Podcasts, articles, short online courses. Third, get your hands dirty. Volunteer for a local project. And fourth, this is so important, show your work. Post about what you're learning, build a portfolio. Don't just tell people you're interested, show them. So let's zoom out one last time and look at the big picture. Making ESG open and inclusive for everyone isn't just a feel-good idea. It's an absolute strategic necessity if we're serious about building a sustainable future.
In the very near future, we're all going to need something called ESG literacy. Seriously,
Think of it like digital literacy 20 years ago. It's going to be a core skill for every single employee in every job to understand how their work connects to the company's impact on the world.
And look, this isn't just on us as individuals. Organizations have to step up. They have to start baking ESG into their normal training programs, funding fellowships, and actually recognizing on-the-job projects as real experience. This isn't charity for them. It's smart business that fuels innovation.
Because really, that's what this all boils down to. Sustainability isn't some niche career path for a chosen few. It's a collective language, a language we all have to learn to speak. And it's one that can only change the world when every single one of us has a voice.